The feminist movement. Are we really better off? What do you think? Welcome to Perfect 12, the podcast. I'm your host, Simona Fusco. I own Perfect 12 Introductions, the leading elite matchmaking service in the country. And I have here my co-host, Mark, who will give us the male perspective.
All right, are we better off? Well, okay, I'll give you my shot. Okay, in some respects we are, because in the 70s you couldn't borrow for a mortgage, you couldn't get credit cards, there's a lot of things you couldn't do, you couldn't get the same jobs. All that was fantastic, much needed. I always look at this for perspective from my daughters. I would want her to have all the same opportunities that a man has if she's qualified and she's driven to do it. I don't want her to be forced in a situation, but now it seems like they're forced. If you live in a big city, you're almost forced to have dual incomes. So now women are both working, still taking care of the kids, still on dates, expected to pay 50-50 in some cases. I mean, you guys oversold it, is my opinion.
I agree in some ways. I think that the feminist movement has caused some obviously great things for women because we're able to be independent. We're able to, get an education, have, grow a business, have children, have our own family. But then it's like, well, what's the guy going to bring to the table at this point? Because if we're doing it all on our own, what do we need a guy for? So that's kind of like a sad mindset. And I also think that, I just always believe that at the core, no matter how independent you are as a woman, you want that stability and that protection, that protector from a man. And I think for a man at the core, he wants to be a provider and protector, at least in my experience with my clients and in my personal experience. So I think there's a lot of positive for women, but also a lot of negative, because men are now saying, well, I feel emasculated, you're doing it all, so you just do it, or let's just go 50-50, and then it's sort of like a roommate relationship.
I mean, the concept of a stay-at-home dad wasn't a reality until recently, until the ultra-feminist movement started kicking in, and then we're equal on everything. No, we're not equal on everything. Women are better at some things, so are men.
100%.
We should just return to that. And I'm
Yes.
not advocating return to the 1960s and 50s and all that. I'm like, okay, maybe 1990s, where it's merit-based. It's not because you're a female, you should be, at a certain position, or because you're a male, you shouldn't be, which is where we were up until maybe last year. I think it should be based on meritocracy. But I truly think the women have given themselves the shaft, if you will. And I'm not talking about, hurting themselves, but I really feel like you've put yourself in a position where men can still take advantage of those women that are independent and what have you, and not have the responsibility of providing for that woman, because she's already making her own money. And so from a male perspective, they're looking at this, where do I fit into this new world, right? And there's all sorts of confusion around that. And I don't think that's good for society. I think the best thing for society is we have family units raising kids, not a stay-at-home mom or a single mom that's working and the kids are in childhood. The same thing with the father. I don't think it's good for society that he's raising kids on his own. But because of all of this stuff that's swirling about, I think that's becoming more and more normal.
Yeah, I agree. But the whole reason I think the whole feminist movement started, let's not forget, is because a lot of women would be abandoned by those men and be left to raise the kids on their own.
Well, that's why the government stepped in. It's called Title 4D, and that's where alimony and child support started,
I know that's big
right?
for you, yes.
Yes. So you had that, right? But like any movement, the movement's always looking for successes. So they push way the heck too far.
Yeah.
And now you guys have kind of shot yourselves in the foot, in my opinion, because you're doing double duty.
100%. Yeah, I think.
Where if I were a woman, I would be like, take care of me. I'll take care of the house. I'll take care of the kids. I'll plan all these adventures. I'll hang out with my friends.
That's how it should be.
That to me is a great lifestyle. But now I'm grinding like the guys trying to keep up with the men, taking care of my kids, taking care of all the other things I had to take care of 40 years ago. But now you're adding this 10-hour workday to the mix. It doesn't seem like you guys have benefited from that all that much. I could be wrong.
Yeah, for sure. When it comes to relationships, I think that really
Well, that's what the show's about.
sort of messed things up as far as the dynamic, because, the women are becoming more masculine and the men are becoming more feminine. And that's a big problem. But
And why is that? What caused that?
what caused it?
Yeah.
Well, I
It
think,
just didn't happen. Men hasn't chosen this path. What happened to cause men to, their testosterone levels are going lower too. So what do you think caused all this?
well, the testosterone level going lower too, that's probably because of what's in the water, all the hormones or something. But like I said, what started it is because women were often left alone, to raise their kids. And the guy, you say the court system, but the court system, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but it fails on both ends more often than it doesn't, and women are left to do it all on their own. So we needed to have an education and be able to go to work and work our butts off so we can have a roof over our head and also take care of our kids. I don't think, it's sort of, we were kind of forced into that, because if men truly were always the responsible provider, even when the relationship is over, that they would still take care of their children, then women wouldn't have been pushed into this place where they now have to do it all.
But do you think it was a large percentage of men that wouldn't take care of their own kids?
100%.
Small.
Oh,
really?
statistically,
So what would you think?
statistically, most women, the majority of women are raising kids on their own.
Yeah, but part
Because
of that,
men disappear, they leave.
well, I think in some communities that is true, but from what I've seen, and I run a charity around this, is that women do make those complaints, but they're blocking their ex-husbands from seeing their kids half the time.
No, that's a different story.
Well, that's what's happening. I'm just telling you, because you guess what? The more time they have with their kids, the more money they get from their husband in terms of child support. That's the incentive system our courts have put in. But I'm more talking about, why have guys shifted? What do you think it's a result of what women have created in society and all that, or do you see guys have fundamentally changed in the last 30 or 40 years?
Well, I mean, I do see it mostly with the younger generation. I mean, for example, my daughter, she tells me, Mom, it's like, my generation is all about 50-50. I mean, it's just, it's not about the guy picking up the check at all, and that she's in her 20s. I think that my generation still has the traditional relationship values where the guy, is a gentleman, opens the door, pulls out the chair, picks up the check, takes care of the woman, is the provider and protector. But yes, there's definitely a major shift, and I think that a lot of people, even in the older generation, are picking that up. And I think, is it laziness also? Because the guys are saying, oh, well, now you can handle it all. You just do it. You're such a, feminist and you do it all, So I think there's just this war between men and women right now. And it's really a shame. I think that
But where's it coming from?
I think there's a misunderstanding. I think that women want to be able to be independent when they have to, but when they want to be feminine, they want to be taken care of and take care of.
But do you see the dichotomy there, right? It's like, how does a man work through that minefield? One day she wants to be taken care of, the other day she wants to be independent and do what she wants to do. I mean, it seems like it's an interesting story to tell young men these days.
I feel that women only are independent because they have to be.
But then why would they want to be taken care of then? You can't have both, is what I'm saying, right?
I don't think that's true. I think that if
how does a man navigate
I think that
that?
when you're single, as a single woman, what are you going to end up in?
As a single, I'm talking about in a relationship.
In a relationship, in a relationship for sure. I think the man should be the man of the house and take care of the family and go to work. And I think, like you said, I think the woman should be feminine and soft and, take care of the kids and take care of him when he comes home. To me, I'm very traditional. That's how I think. But yes, I mean, it has shifted and that's a shame. I think that you can't have both. Absolutely. I don't think you can have both, because that's when then the gender roles start reversing.
The other problem I have, and I think it's really hurt society, is that
in a relationship, you can't have both.
Yeah. Right. If you're independent, go for it. We freaking go for it. And I'm going to be holding the signs behind you saying, congratulations and keep going. But I want to shift the topic a little bit to, on social media, you see women talk about men as the oppressors and women as the victims in a lot of these social media posts. Guys don't get on there and confess, what's happened in a relationship. Do you think that's kind of hurt some of the relationships between men and women? Because now men look at that and they see that women are doing this, after a breakup or what have you.
Are you talking about the Me Too movement, or what are you referring to about
Me Too
oppressing?
is part of it, but just go and see social media, any social media, and you're going to see a lot of women saying men are narcissists and my boyfriend did this to me, and you see a lot of women do it. You don't see a lot of guys go on social media and talk about and confess about their relationship. Maybe he'll say she's crazy. That's what I get. She was crazy. But it just seems like guys that don't have a lot of life experience that are watching this on social media, they're thinking,
see what you're saying.
Why would I even bother getting into a relationship if this is going to be the result of that relationship? I'm the oppressor and she's the victim. She doesn't talk about any of the stuff that she did. If you watch these girls and what they say out there, she only talks about what the guy did to her. Well, maybe you caused it to happen because you were pushing his boundaries into a breaking point. And then all of a sudden, maybe he did get a little mean or aggressive. But all the guys are seeing is, guys are oppressors, woman's the victim. Why should I bother? Do you think that's hurt society?
I think it's interesting what you're saying, because unfortunately men have been taught to not show their feelings. They can't cry, they can't show weakness, and
but isn't that true?
And men don't talk with their buddies about their relationships. It's more about, let's watch sports, let's go watch football, and I think that's the issue too. Because women, the reason, women, they will talk about everything ad nauseum, right? But it's also healing, right? We talk with our girlfriends, you won't believe what happened, and that heals us. But men, a lot of times, they don't heal, they just go from one relationship to the next and they don't talk about it. So they just repeat that same cycle over again. And that's why I think women say they're the oppressor and women are the victim, because women really tend to work on themselves after each relationship and go, okay, what happened here? Why did it go wrong? Why did he, become aggressive? Or why did he cheat? Or, we really think about it. Whereas I think guys, because they don't talk with each other and then they don't go to therapy either, they just go into the next relationship like a Band-Aid and hope that it's going to be different. In my experience with my clients and with my personal experience, that is what I've seen. So I think maybe that's why you're seeing people talk about it that way on social media.
Well,
I think if men talked more about their feelings, we would, it's like we're guessing, we're always the emotional ones, but I think men suppress their emotions and then it comes out in anger or resentment or, lashing out, cheating and all that. Like,
men are taught to suppress their emotions because it doesn't work for them in real life other than relationships.
Right.
So they have to almost separate who they are, because in business, it's death. You cannot be that emotional in business. People are going to look at you like you're unprofessional and they're not going to do business with you.
Yep.
So it's hard for us to separate the two. And even women in corporate life have to do the same thing, right?
True.
I still think you're better at it, separating the two. But you can't just be super emotional in a boardroom meeting or a sales call and cry and all that. You can't do it. So we've learned to suppress that. And so for us to just switch it off when we get home after a long day of work is not easy. Now, those who have gone through therapy and counseling, I've been through more years than I want to admit, you understand how to do that, how to navigate that. But that's a lot of work. I don't see 20-year-olds getting there. I mean, maybe some advanced ones that are way beyond me. I didn't know what the hell I was doing till about 30.
I really think that the younger generation is more about therapy and...
Well, it's not helping. Look at them.
Yeah, it's not, because the dynamics have shifted for sure. That's the issue. Yeah.
Dynamics are way worse, I think, than when we were younger.
For everything. I mean, like I talked to kids in their 20s, or kids to me, and they say, I don't want to get married.
Yeah.
Girls are saying, I don't want to have babies. If I have kids, it'll be with a surrogate. They don't even want to carry a child.
Yeah, because they're watching social media, their bodies, they think their bodies are going to get worse, when if they just run a normal workout program, I promise you it won't. They don't want to go through that at all.
That shift is really sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad, and it makes you wonder, like, are we old-fashioned? But it feels like all the emotion, the feelings, and the covenant is gone,
Well, I think our generation is closer to reality, and we always go back to reality. This is a Generation Z that's been told that you can choose what gender you are, what kind of sexuality you have. It's just a choice, and you can do it before you're 18. So imagine the fantasies that are going on in their minds and what they've been told by our schools and by society and the press for the last 20 years.
That's a whole nother
blame
episode.
them. So when you're in that situation, I think a lot of the not get married things from the guy's perspective, because the guys have been so screwed in family court. They're like, I saw what my dad went through. I couldn't see my dad for 3 years because my mom was blocking him from seeing me. That type of thing scares the living shit out of them.
You've seen it from your point of view, but remember, there are a lot of women that get screwed in family court
I help
too.
more women than men.
Yeah.
So because the guys have learned the game and they're playing it against the women now.
100%.
But the whole thing is bullshit. It's all about money.
I mean,
That's another episode.
I've seen women lose custody, and it's outrageous
crazy.
just so the guy doesn't have to pay child support. And, to rip a child away from their mother, you can't. A child needs a mother. So,
I agree. A younger child, any child needs a mother, but especially when they're young.
Yeah.
But both sides are playing the game, and the women have been playing it longer, so they're better at it. And they actually train these women how to claim these things. Never happened, but they claim them, and even if the guy eventually wins 2 or 3 years down the line, there's no repercussions to it. So there's no anti-motivation for making false allegations, and this happens all the time. So I think that's more why guys are saying they don't want to be, they don't want to get married. Yeah, and I'm not saying it's a male or female. Traditionally, it's been a female tool that they've used in family court, but now men are learning the game.
Oh my gosh, it's really, really outrageous and sad what's happening, and I've seen it with.
And yet society is doing nothing about it.
Yeah,
we should accept it.
Well, that's what you and I are here for.
Exactly.
Hopefully we can bring awareness to it and have more people talking about it.
Let me ask you a serious question.
Oh gosh, a serious question? This wasn't serious?
Do you feel like women are better off today than they were 25 years ago?
Wow, that's a loaded question. I think in some ways women are better off than they were 25 years ago.
Overall, like, would you want the 2000
trying to nail me down
2000 societal woman or the 2025 societal woman?
I think 2025 societal woman is not better off. No, but 90s 2000 was the ideal.
Yeah, and I think the ultra feminists, not the true feminists, pushed this thing because they kept wanting to be in business. And they're always looking for something else to be victimized by and to change society and to put pressure on what I call low T males, low testosterone males, to get on board with them. I mean, it's absolute insanity in my experience. And it's all culminated with this mayor in New York. Do you know that 83%
Let's not talk politics.
of women, young women under 30, voted for a communist? This would never have happened in my day, ever.
Yeah, it's really incredibly outrageous and disappointing what's happened in New York. I can't believe it even happened. I'm still astonished.
So what is wrong
it.
with our women that are under 30 years old right now? And
I don't know. I think there's a lot of very confused people out there in so many ways.
But is it feminism or is it something else?
Honestly, that's a good question. I can't tell you. Is it feminism or is there just a lot of really confused people out there?
Well, they're confused because of what they're being told. They can live in a fantasy. They can choose their gender. They can.
Right.
Communism's going to save them. It's going to give them money and support them and all this kind of stuff. This is what they're being fed. And you could look at the other groups because they did the breakdown. No other group believes that. So it's something
really
about
messy.
yeah.
It's really, really messy out there, that's for sure. And I don't know how you're going to change that, because it's just taking over so much. It's like this huge wave that's taken over, you know?
Yeah.
We're just sitting here watching it.
Men need to take control of the narrative along with some sensible women and just say, this is not reality. Reality is, here's what men are good at, here's what women are good at traditionally, but if you want to do whatever you want to do, it's based on meritocracy. That's it. Gender should not matter. And go back to what we all want to do. I don't think most women I know want to do this corporate life thing full in and full out. Maybe some do, and they should. Absolutely. My daughter, if she wants to just work in corporate America, I'm going to support her every chance I get. But I don't want her forced into it. And it just seems like that there's a lot of pressure for women to get into a masculine situation where they want to be in their feminine.
Yeah.
But society's pushing them into that, and I think that's a huge detriment to society. I do.
100%, I agree with you. We need to bring traditional values back, right?
Yeah, the right ones.
The right ones.
Yes, for sure. So
what's your takeaway from this? You were gonna.
My takeaway is almost identical to what you just said, is that we need to bring some sort of normalcy and reality back to society, because it's ripping us apart. I mean, we already have a political divide. We got somewhat of a gender divide, because some men that open up women's doors are applauded, some that do are chastised. What the hell is that?
That's crazy.
So nobody knows what the rules are. And if you're a man of quality, you're just saying, fuck it, I'm not going to do any of it. I'm just going to check out, and I'm going to be the sugar daddy, or I'm going to be, just sleep with a bunch of women because I don't want to form any relationships with them because they're going to use false allegations, or you're going to be the victim in a situation where, I'm just trying to be a normal gentleman, and you're creating all this drama around me because of what you've been told by society. So we got to get back to, some normalcy and common sense. That would be my takeaway.
I really love hearing your perspective. It's so interesting. I really do, because, I often wonder, why are men so feminine these days? What's happening? And I love the way you've explained it. It's so true. And I agree. Like, my takeaway is of course, bring back traditional values, the good parts, as you said. But I think that there's both good and bad with the feminist movement. Obviously, I think it's important to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, that you can be an independent woman, that you can take care of yourself, so that you don't get into relationships that are just financially motivated, and that you don't stay in a relationship that could potentially be abusive just because, he's paying the bills. So I think it's very important that you're independent, that you have some kind of passion in life that you can, create revenue with. But I don't think that it needs to get to the point where, men become so emasculated that they then say, well, why don't you pick up the check? So there you have it. That's my point of view. That's it for the show. And no matter what your relationship style is, I will help you find your perfect 12.